So our next lecture will be online, which will be given by Dr. Manoj Kumar Tiwari, as he couldn't join us due to some personal reasons. Professor Manoj Kumar Tiwari is the director of NITI Mumbai. He is a fellow of Institute of Industrial Engineering, a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, a fellow of National Academy of Science, and a member, Board of Governor of National Institute of Advanced Manufacturing, Ranchi. He is the first person from any institution in India to have been awarded the prestigious David Baker Award in 2023 as an eminent researcher in the field of industrial engineering. He is serving as Associate Editors of IE System, Man and Cybernetic System, International Journal of Production Research, and many more. So let's hear it from Dr. Manoj Kumar Tiwari virtually. Thank you. Before that, I would request Dr. Madhuranjan Kumar to come onto the stage and hand over the memento to Dr. Amit Kumar Vishwakarma.
Hello.
Second class player and then you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Will you select your hand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Samiji, my slide is visible? अमित जी
Yes, sir.
हम बीच बीच में आपसे पूछते रहेंगे कि whether you are I'm audible or not, तो आप थोड़ा हाथ बताते रहिएगा, ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, first of all, I place my profound regards to Dr. Madhuranjan ji, who is spearheading a very interesting project and doing wonderful work with respect to bringing all the modern decision-making tools in ensuring the automation as well as bringing smartness in the public procurement and some content of the supply chain. I met a few of his juniors and colleagues who have been involved in the public procurement of large goods and services, particularly in the railway, and they all hail and appreciate the effort which he has put to promote this particular segment of the supply chain, particularly procurement and the different kind of contracts, which are very much difficult to understand many times because of the complex nature of the points which are there in the contracts. And as we all know that when you want to sign a contract, then contract depends on many type of things, like say what is the reputation of the firm, the type of items, its specification, weight and size and volume, and how the transportation is to be done, how we can go ahead with the delivery of the items. There are many kind of things which are there involved in this. Particularly, this assumes a specific significance after the advent of and proliferation of the distributed manufacturing, which is there that most of the top firms and bigger firms, they are having the different subsidiaries and they have different components are manufactured at different places by different organizations. So keeping all those factors in mind, it is essential that we have to bring some sort of intelligent automation in the domain of public procurement. So it is noticed that in recent years, a particular tool called artificial intelligence, where the machine learning is one of the important component of that data science, through which data need to be analyzed in different ways, classification, codification, and clustering, and then using the different smart tools, whether they are based stat based or they are machine learning based. They are primarily used to find out some useful information and patterns through which some sort of prediction, and later on through the OR tools we can do the optimization. So a particular term which became very popular in recent days is called the smart prediction and optimization. When I use this word smart prediction and optimization, here I used to refer that the prediction is to be done through some of the tools of the machine learning, data science, and then based on the outcome that we received along with the other component, then we go for optimizing the problem, and then therefore what is the decision error that we want to minimize. So keeping this particular development in mind, this idea of smart contract in public procurement assumes a specific significance. So let us move ahead with the rest of the presentation after setting the tone for this. So I'm going to cover some aspects of what is the smart contract, then benefits and its applications, and how the AI and AI smart contracts look like, and then AI-driven smart contract process, and how it is there in the AI procurement, and various specific terms which are recently being coined with procurement. It's called chatbot, how it is interpreted, and then automation and smartness. And of course, anomaly detection is a big problem in any area. So here also, how AI is going to use to find out the anomaly detection. And then there are some case studies which we know. And recently also one of the very popular case studies which has been reported from the Harvard Business Review, that is improving the shipping contract with the use of blockchains, etc. So they are also there. So I am going to confine my talk with respect to this. So as you can see that there are, say we want to define two types of contracts. One we say that traditional contracts and then say smart contracts. The main difference you can find between the traditional contracts and smart contracts are, say, first of all, how much time it takes to sign the contracts. So traditional 1 to 3 days, say, and here it takes only few minutes to few hours. And remittance in the traditional contract it is manual, and here it is automatic remittance of the money can be found. And traditional contract, because of many manual involvement where labor is involved, the process is lengthy, so expensive, whereas smart contracts are quite cost effective now. Here, physical presence is very much essential for the parties who sign the traditional contract, and keeping in mind that many recent web-based distance, AI or AR/VR technology, now the virtual presence could be significant, and intermediary is essential in the traditional context, whereas because of the everything is available with respect to the videos, audios, and everything, so no need of intermediary is required in this one. So keeping the main difference in mind between the traditional contract and the smart contract. So here we would like to highlight some of the points like contracts that are self-executing with terms of the agreement between the two or more parties. They may be referred to the smart contract. Then these are the contracts which are not depending on the intermediaries for the execution. And we also found that one of the very powerful technology which is based on the recording at the laser basis, and where many places in the indelible kind of recording which you cannot delete actually. So that is also there's a blockchain technology. And I just referred a contract now where particularly between the hiring of the ships, correct? That is called a contract between the charterer and ship owner has been signed, where they have demonstrated very nicely that how the consortium-led approach for setting up the standards and protocols that can lead to the faster adoption of the blockchain-based solutions. So blockchain, basically distributed ledger technology that stores the data at assigned nodes, and of course giving access only to the parties which has been verified earlier by the system. As you can see, some of the one of key benefits which one can realize by the smart contracts. You can see, first of all, there will be speed in completing the process of signing the contract. It is more accurate because there is a less chances of the error. Then transparency fully is there, that one can see that what is happening. Of course, security is a measure, which is a big challenge also and somewhat insured also, but cyber attacks particularly that need to be taken care in, in many aspects like some malware or some complete program or complete system can be blocked or can be made non-functional. So security is one thing, but many layers of the security has been made, so therefore some safety measures are now being realized by the people. And here communication, of course, is quite fast, as well as at many layers, it can go in a few seconds, and basically whole process is paperless, so you can say sustainable, and there is hardly any CO2 emission is involved in the smart contract, and it is to be done very efficiently also, where the time required and also you can say presence or movement is almost minimal, so therefore it is most preferred. And then trustworthiness is installed because at every stage there is a record and hardly there is any way to doubt on the processing. And then of course it ensures in the savings of the money, because at many places where travel, keeping the record in a physical form, as well as many other formalities, that are to be automated. So in that process, there will be saving also, and whole things can be stored and recorded for many years. So these are the some of the prominent benefits of the smart contracts, and that is why sooner or later most of the things can go in this way in days to come. Then some of the uses of the smart contracts where we can show and find out, like say when we say which area has more chances of its application. So we found that, so whenever you give an order, like say how to trace the quality, price, as well as all the transactions along the supply chain, and then the point of uses where there can be scope for the smart contracts. So you can say like say right from the ordering of the raw material, transportation, warehouse and port, and then it comes to the further transportation from the another port, and from that port it goes to the warehouse, again transportation, then particular shop, and then fast selling. So you can say at many places like in this way ordering there will be contract, port, between port and ships there will be contract, between the port and warehouse there will be contract. So at every place you can see there are different forms of the contract that need to be signed by the different parties. So some of the challenges of the smart contracts has also been mentioned here, and I just want to highlight. So Amitji, I am audible? Amitji? Amitji?
Yes, we are audible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So some of the smart contract challenges which are there, like say, first of all, there is a technological challenges where the need of scalability, that is new technologies always are coming up. So how we have to scale the whole process and take it to the other dimensions also. Then there is a question of interoperability because many types of operating systems, many types of devices are there. Their configuration is different. Their software level is different. We like say somewhere it is Windows 10, 11, somewhere Windows 7. So in storage and this, just a very small example. But similarly, it can also be found whenever you are using chatbot, robots, etc. There can be a lot of differences between the protocols and standards actually. Then there is a legal challenges. So many of the rules, like say they say that physical presence is essential, signing of the document in front of third party, or you can say that signature in the original form in presence of the persons are required. So there are many ways where still there are some challenges legally not yet enabled because of the process involved. So that need to be also rationalized actually. Then there are organizational challenges like how the governance of blockchains, that who will operate the blockchains, how it will be maintained, who are the regulator of this kind of process, and then you can say the technology is evolving and not yet fully democratized. So therefore, there is a lack of talent also that you cannot find very adequate person. And I think Dr. Madhuranjan himself has faced the heat that when he wanted to hire some of the data science experts, I think 2 times he has to advertise to get the person, even though he was giving very high salary also. Same process we are also facing, that adequate talent who can easily apply their different techniques and tools, particularly decision science tools, to see that there will be a discernible pattern and proper information from the knowledge discovery can be had from the databases. This need to be assured, and that is why we require somewhat more smart peoples to carry out these jobs. And some of the common challenges, as we can see, the privacy and security, these are all the which are, most of the concerns for the organizations. What will happen if there is some hacking? What will happen if there are some sudden collapse of the system? What will happen if there is crashing of the systems? And as the second thing, that many of the smart contracts which has been designed for AXM may have to be changed. So therefore, we have to make it more flexible and reconfigurable than what it is there. And then, at present we can say that why high cost of operations because more people will be required which are paid more, and the slow turnaround time of the manual process, siloed approaches, and then loss of revenue due to unclaimed entitlements, and some of the regulatory enforcement due to non-compliance. So they are the reasons actually why we have to go for the smart contracts actually. In showing the smart contract, we have to very massively apply the tools of artificial intelligence. Here, the AI is basically machine displayed intelligence that simulates the human behavior or thinking and how the search is to be conducted, how reasoning is to be built up, how the patterns need to come out, how the prediction is to be done. So there are some well defined process, and also the data in the form of image, data in the form of table, data in the form of graphs. They all need to be converted into a format which the algorithm can easily understand. And then there is a very interesting, multi-layer technology where many of the neurons, many layers of the neurons, they are there, and where we have many kind of inputs from the different data sources. And because of that, when you have to have more and more interaction among the layers of the neurons, then accuracy of the decision will be very high, prediction will be very high. So in that case, you have more authentic, more dependable, less error free, less error prone results are available by using this kind of mechanism. So types of the AI models are trained with the vast volumes of data so that the model supervised learning, and also in case of unsupervised learning, there should be a well-trained model so that the prediction error will be less. Then one of the key elements of AI is machine learning algorithms through which there are many discernible patterns are built up, and these patterns capture the way that how the particular data set is behaving for solving the given problems, and based on that we have to do the prediction as well as decision making. And many of the algorithms which are there, one of the greatest example is the GP. Recently, we call that Chat GPT, and this Chat GPT is also working based on natural language processing and the search algorithms. So natural language processing is one thing which has been very much automated, the type of process that we use in the contracts. And another very interesting thing, robotic process automation, which has very much helpful actually to mimic the human actions and then reproduce the repetitive simple tasks, which are very difficult for human being to do without mistakes. But robotics automation process that will do very smartly without committing error in that process. So these are some of the tools, and I can say that how the whole process of a smart contract works in the different domains. So here we have a blockchain driven smart contract, and how whole mechanism in different domains can be there that we want to show you. Say for example, if you can see here there are say law enforcement officers. So they get some sort of information, and these files which are there, legal or illegal files we can call it, then this is to be converted into instructions. So it can be illegal file, original file. And then this need to be decoded. And from here, whatever information we acquire, that is buyer's address and commodity ID that we provide to the document that is there. And then we compare here for the user database and blockchain. So, and then whatever becomes, that way, this is to be, decision to be taken for the offender who has violated the contracts or who has violated the provisions of the law, and that way the offender is to be punished. So this way the data, how it is to be transacted through the different stages has been demonstrated. And smart contract, you can see the area where you can find it, the medical research, financial services and insurance, supply chain management at different stages, automated payment systems, then mortgage transactions which are basically taking place in the land and other items, and then engagement contracts between the different parties, the real estate, one of the classic use of the smart contract, and particularly employment contract between the persons as well as the employee or many labor contractors and between the organizations, then creating smart contracts for many other applications. and also through blockchain, how can we show the different kind of transparency. Then comes AI-driven smart contract processes. So negotiation and agreement on terms of the contract between the all parties involved, that is very common phenomena. So negotiation itself has been mapped and captured through different steps. And there are many multi-agent based principles have been developed by the computer scientist community, through which the negotiations based on the multi-agent systems, how the involvement of the game theory was there, how evolutionary games can be used there. So negotiation becomes a very different area. So, but it is many times part of the agreement. So how the negotiation aspects can be inbuilt into the contract so that some of the process can be automated, and whatever the contract terms are encrypted in codes and stored in the blockchain, that need to properly represent the conditions that has been specified, and then evaluation of the contract to automate and execute the contract when eligible conditions are met. So contract can only be executed like what happens in the petri net. Whenever we have a place, we have a transitions, we have a tokens. So only execution of the whole process starts when there is a dot, that is called token, available in the place, and it fires only when there are rules says that okay, this transition can be made enable if there is a token number in the given place. So same sort of things can be executed in the case of the contract also, when the contract is to be executed or green signal is to be given. So that mechanism is to be automated for execution. And then outcomes are recorded, that how, what is the outcome of particular execution process, as well as we have to update it at all nodes. When I say all the nodes means different entities, different places, transitions which are involved in the process, they need to be updated. Then a term, very interesting term which is there used in the case of the contract management, and different processes are there. So let's say contract management process details. What are there? The entire process, how it is to be represented. Say for example, if you can see here, the contract management process details involves different stages. Like say request for a new contract or the review of the existing contracts normally arises. Simple example I tell you, when you purchase most of the networking items or computerization, automation, as well as for the providing internet connectivity to the institutions. So we go into agreement with the many of the supplier parties. Quite likely possible that you have some of the switches of the old configurations are there, some of the switches you require for new configuration. Many times even the like fiber optics cable configuration also gets changed. So 10 years ago, what was the, now what is the configuration? The question is, in this case, suppose you have signed 4 years before back also, then there are many cyber security kind of firewalls and softwares which has come up. They need to be updated. So therefore, any contract, whether it is for the execution or procurement, there is always need to have a new contract or go for renewal of the review of the updation of the existing contract. Then comes authoring the contract, means what are the key terms and conditions, like when to start selling, total number, quantity, distance, mode of transportation, and then terms of the payments, value of the quantity, and like say, I recall in our days whenever we want to purchase some of the heavy machinery from the abroad, then we have to do the payment of whole thing through letter of credit. And we also mention in our contract that, okay, goods and services, goods to be supplied, then there was a term called FOB, free on board. So later on we come to know that free on board means the item will be delivered at the nearest port only. And then the security and insurance will be go at your cost actually. Whereas had they have taken CIF, that is right from the cost insurance of the freight, up to the delivery places, then this has been borne, would have been borne by the party who are supplying the items. So quite likely possible we all were used to write FOB at that time because most of the provisions were applied at that time for that only, and we were very mechanically using FOB. So now when we became slightly knowledgeable, then we found that CIF is more important than the FOB as far as ensuring the safe services of the goods that we procure from outside. Then negotiation and approval. Means if there are certain quantity and you take more quantity, less quantity, 10 pieces, 20 pieces, then what discount you are going to get, or even there can be some relaxation of the spare parts that we are going to have for a longer items, like when you go for engine or you go for aircraft or you go for some of the other machinery which are very special purpose. So in that case also in most of the things you need to have negotiation, how we are going to reduce the price, how we are going to have some sort of advantage in terms of the savings, as well as we get it some amount relaxed. So those are the things that are part of the negotiation. So we say that cost can be minimized, our total supply cost can be minimized by that process. So discount and penalties, they need to be discussed and negotiated. The contract performance and analysis means how it is working, whether timely delivery is taking place or not. In defense and high machinery area, this is very, very important that we have to regularly monitor the contract performance, how many items promised have been delivered, what are the delay time, how it can be reduced, and the performance of the items coming is same or not, how many of them are get damaged, what are the shipping modes adopted, same shipper is to be used or different shipper need to be used. So this way we have to analyze the contracts, and then amendment and expiry, if it is there, that need to be renewed, and also otherwise go for the signing of the new contract. Here the objective is to eliminate the pain points in all the 5 steps that we mentioned. So to eliminate the pain points means the points where there can be some of the difficulties being arisen due to some nature of the contract process. How can we automate, say, price negotiation by a AI-based chatbot? So here we have to map the functioning of the AI-based chatbot. What is this chatbot AI-based? Means you have to give the information, then they have the inbuilt algorithm, and with the help of that algorithm, they give you the answer. So you have many if and then procedure also that you can put, and then corresponding conditions you may get. If this is the situation, then what will happen? So that kind of things can easily be solved by the AI-based chatbot. And then layout and activities and steps which are involved in negotiation process, particularly with the AI chatbot, is also mentioned here. Say, for example, we should have to collect the historical procurement data. Say in last 5 years, last 4 years, last 10 years, how much procurement of the process, stock availability, delivery items, failure items, items which has gone out of become non-functional. So this data along with it need to be properly captured. And so many times for newer product, it is not possible to have the historical data. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to divide the, say, 7 month or 8 month or 1 year's performance of similar kind of product, and then first 6 to 7 months we use for training the data. Then remaining 4-5 months for testing data, and then we can go for the prediction. So like this, similar kind of process and nature of the product need to be searched when the historical data is not in a very large number. Then vendor KPIs means what are the things like fill rate, then how the date for delivery, how the availability of the items is ensured, defect, that 10 items got out of order or 5 items damaged. So all those things, they are the KPIs that we have to follow the vendor side. And then getting vendor input, that is what is the performance scorecard, means out of say some number, you have ensured that okay, these are the points that we are giving you. Then recommended price using statistical or machine learning methods. So you have to use different kind of tools like linear regression, lasso, or many other era boost, G boost, or some other techniques to find to give the recommendations that with this process, what is the outcome, what is the prediction, how much error will be there, and then classification of the vendor into high, low, medium performance categories using the statistical methods or any kind of decision tree process or random forest or many other AI-based methods. Then in AI and procurement, as you have seen when we described the previous things, you can find out that idea is to come out with better decisions and then find out the newer opportunities also with this process and then improve the existing operations and some of the manual tasks which are boring and time consuming and repetitive tasks which are difficult to repeat the process accurately, they all can be done through the AI chatbot type of process. And AI can automate many time consuming tasks and such as monthly processes and procurement, performance reporting, etc. Then we have the free up time by taking care of more routine tasks, and then we have to capture or apply the many scarce knowledge which are not able to be do by the manual and other traditional process. And then we can also go for testing and checking. There are some hypothetically new suppliers that may come into picture, and of course, then optimize the supplier relationships. Sabiji, I am audible? Amiji? Hello?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Thank you. So, there are many ways, particularly in which AI can be used for smart sourcing in the procurement process. The first automation which we have shown is the AI-powered bots. The second and more important is the AI-powered tools which are helping to collect the information rapidly, then represent the whole thing, then analyze the commodity, and also analyze the market, and then use the supply intelligence to find out the different market strategies for doing the procurement process. Then how actually some of the system works actually. So a smart contract and chatbot processes, we have tried to capture it. So first of all, let's say we have a requirement of the product. Then we have to collect the suppliers and vendors bid data. So there are two databases as you can see here, that online data search engine or bidding platform. And here the whole database is there. So there is the interaction between these two blocks. And then determination of the recommended price. And this is to be done by a hybrid chatbot, which is here. And then based on that, we have to find out the vendor performance. And then we have to go for the negotiated price and then either sign the contract or exit and then close the decision. This is the one form of this one. So how the decision board actually here it works. So suppose here we say the recommended price is less than offered price. This particular link or this particular branch of the decision board suppose says the recommended price is less than offered price, and this branch of the decision board says that recommended price is greater than offered price. When the recommended price is greater than the offered price, certainly we go for the deal and complete it here. But when the recommended price is less than the offered price, then there is an element of the negotiation involved. So when negotiation price is less than the revised recommended price called RRP, then there can be three possibilities. What are these three possibilities? Yes, suppose you say that this is correct, so we sign the deal. No, then we can reject it also. And third case is that in high performance category, the negotiated price can be less than equal to this revised recommended price multiplied by a factor called negotiating factor. So this negotiating factor depends on the many circumstances, type of items and delivery, etc. So deal and request for the some perks are rejected. So like this, how the decision board which has been shown here functions and how its inner algorithm is being coded, that it can be given here to any hint actually. So interface of the negotiating bot actually. So as you can see that here, we take the, like say, first interaction. So input from the seller or starting note and messages will be there. And then, a data processing and identifying the intent here. That is the data processing, data dictionary, bag of the words and responses. And then price input means comparing the recommended price, correct? So that is called digital input, that POS tagging as a cardinal digit and comparing with the recommended price. Then bargaining response through negotiation, that comparing the offered price and quoting the revised price actually. And then ending note on final decision, that is we are closing the loop now. So these are the part of the algorithm which is being used for carrying out the negotiation between interviews with the board. And then some of the well-defined terms which I have explained earlier also, just want to refresh it, that without smart control, chatbot buyers receive the higher wholesale price quote than human buyers. In smartness, what happens? The chatbot buyers, when informing suppliers, they are selected by smart AI algorithms, receive lower wholesale price quote than chatbot buyers without AI recommendations. Here, the human buyers, when informing suppliers, they are selected by smart AI algorithms and they receive a similar wholesale price quote as human buyers without AI recommendation. So idea is that what is the difference between this automation alone and smartness, and then automation and smartness. So when you combine both, then when informing suppliers, they are selected by the smart AI algorithms, chatbot, buyers receive a lower wholesale price quote than human buyers. And here chatbot buyers, when informing suppliers, they are selected by smart AI algorithms, receive a lower wholesale price quote than human buyers without the AI recommendations. So this is about the automation and smartness, which is being the three categories. So people will prefer to go for the third one. That is what is being tagged for the next generation systems. And here just want to show here effect of the automation and smartness. So you can see this is the, this particular axis when you say automated, this is all smartness. So there are human buyer, correct? Then smart, here automated and in this quadrant it is automated and smart. So you can say that in this quadrant you can see whenever note this plus and minus and equal to is there, suppose this will plus sign, minus sign here, this is equal sign. So plus sign minus represents higher, lower and similar price quotes respectively. Between say human buyer and here smart buyer, you can say between these two, let's say you can say, if this equal to shows that there is a similar price between the two entities, correct? So in this you can see very clearly no recommendation, then human recommendation, like this block, this one human recommendation and AI recommendations. So this is the way how the buyers type and different kind of discounts are there in a particular data set that has been taking place. And then we have categorized that key, how the AI recommended things you can see it in case of chatbot, how it is high. In case of female buyers, it's say here somewhat low actually. And then in case of male and all type of data, its performance looks to be good actually. And then AI in the anomaly detection, which is very common in different kind of contracts, that what are the different kind of anomalies, what are the lapses, lacunae, can we have some sort of algorithms through which we can detect it. So based on the many of the theory which were found in the diagnosis, prognosis kind of things that were very much popular in the maintenance, MROs and other operations. So now same detection principles have been somewhat copied and also improved with the help of newer AI algorithms to see that how anomaly means changing in the pattern, some sort of abrupt steps or some sort of signals or some sort of you can say like in the machines you have vibrations, you have a noise, or you have some sort of different kind of flow, different kind of other things you observe. So those points of the what you call random performances, they need to be tracked. And based on that, actually, we can say here there is an anomaly. So now question is that how this anomaly is detected by the AI. So there is a, for example, banking industry, they have used many kind of algorithms to check that what are the different anomalies there with respect to the, payment system, with respect to the frauds. So bank is area where many algorithms have been built up. And I know at least several of my students, they are working in fraud detection process in the banks. Then this is the CPG firms, computer, what you call, many of the products now which are there like a CPG type. You can say like many of the firms like Procter and Gamble, or you can say HUL, they are all CPG firms. They basically used this kind of anomaly detection for demand planning to estimate the better forecast of the item, because they produce large number of items, very large quantity of things to cater the whole seasonal demands actually. Then you can say telecom industry also, they used this particular tool, anomaly detection, that how the geek minds help in Fortune 500 company to fix different issues in the network. Then healthcare industry, very much they are needing that type of medicine, and also there are new molecules which are coming up, how they will behave. So these are the different areas where anomaly detection is to be taken place, and they are the part of many of the contracts that we have seen in the procurement also. So with this, you can see similar kind of things we found in the many of the fintech industries, because fintech now is a very integral part of the smart contract, because most of the payments are done through the online systems, and they have to play a big role. So therefore, we have also cited that how they can be used for cutting the cost of the budgets or building where they are there, reducing the prediction risk in the investment, providing the other kind of hedging against the some of the political risking, then fraud prevention, then managing the credit card kind of default risk, and then optimizing the customer journey. So that lead to what? Decreased cost of the whole process. It minimizes the risk. Here the fraud cases comes down to a new level, new low level, then personalized services, and many of the increased revenues has been reported, and there are certainly the increased employee satisfaction also. And some of the terms which are there basically like say firms which are using this kind of, they are also been given here. So this is the how the advanced analytics in fintech is used. So we just want to cite few case studies in this particular process, that how the Walmart brought up unprecedented transparency to their food supply chain with the hyperledger fabric is a kind of blockchain, and they produce many of the items like mangoes, strawberries, also meat and poultry items, dairy items, and multi-ingredient products. Their main challenges was that how to tracing the source of foodborne diseases outbreak, and then completing the task in minimal time actually, and then marking and protecting those farms which were not affected by the outbreak actually. Then approach, they follow the Walmart through the smart contracts. They use blockchain, decentralized food supply system, ecosystem. The company has partnered with the IBM for developing the food traceability system through Hyperledger Fabric, and it was tested in two products. That is tracing the mango sold in the US Walmart and then tracing the pork sold in the China Walmart stores. Of course, the result they found that they can trace the origin of around 25 products from 5 different suppliers using systems powered by the blockchain supported by Hyperledger Fabric. And for the mango in US stores, the time needed to trace this their provenance went from 7 days. The second one was the how the digitizing global trade with the Mars and IBM. Here, more than 4 trillion goods are shipped each year. Then 80% of the goods consumed they use daily are carried by the ocean shipping industry. And by reducing the barriers within the international supply chain, the global trade could increase nearly 15%. That is boosting the economy and creating jobs. The cost that required for trade documentation is estimated to be 1/5 of the actual physical transportation cost. So, like say here, the different entities as mentioned, like authorities here, the consignees are there, some freight, other agents like transporters are there. So, exporter authorities, they are there, forwarders, freight forwarders, authority and carriers. So, how the relationship between them, what kind of what you call number of arrows going particular to one and then going to different, that shows the level of interaction that need to be done actually to ensure that how many data point need to be recorded before we actually receive the items and get that item at the end of the people that who want this item. So the inconsistent flow of the information across the organization, there is one of the region, there is main challenges, that manual time consuming paper related processes, risk assessment that often lacks sufficient information, and of course administrative cost of handling the container shipment. So that is why nowadays a lot of work is going on, that how the container traceability and container tracking need to be done through the many geospatial technologies actually. The results of such kind of outcomes of the contracts, AI-based, AI-powered contracts, blockchain-powered contracts between the exporter, tracker, rail, forwarder, and consignees and carriers, many and different authorities which are there after digitization, then fast, secure access to the different entities among the supply chain partners, then verifiable and immutability of the digital documents means tampering cannot be possible because it is recorded at different places. Then trusted cross-organizational workflow, then better risk assessment with the lesser intervention, and far lower administrative expense that is recorded there, and also it eliminates the cost to move physical papers and are moving across the other international borders actually. So these are the some advantages that has been reported. So based on that, I can say that what I wanted to cover about the smart contracts as well as how the AI powered decision making can be found in the contracts as well as procurements. This whatever we have wanted to show, we have shown it to you. And now, is there any question that I can answer? Please.
Thank you, Professor Manoj, sir. So, we'll take a question if anyone have.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You explained about autonomous and smartness in contract, but I could not follow. Can you tell us what is the basic difference of autonomous and smart contracts?
So, did you got the question?
No, I'm not. I'm coming with a lot of echo, so you can translate it then tell me.
Okay, sir, the question is, he's asking, so what is the difference between autonomous and the smart contract?
Actually, it's autonomous.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I have shown the automation and smart contract, but
Yeah, yeah, I could not
yeah,
follow that.
I think there is a lot of echo. So can I say?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Because when I speak, a lot of echo is coming from your side. Correct. Anyway, let me answer. Actually, the difference between smart contract and autonomous system no, is not much. Because I have given the example of automation. So in automation, what happens? Many of the decisions are, you can say, based on some fixed rule. Whereas the moment you say smart, so more and more AI-powered decisions are being taken, and that is also happening in the autonomous systems also. Means where decision making is mostly automated through the different, AI-powered and software algorithms. So when we say autonomous and are smart, more or less saying the same level of application of the newer decision-making tools. So I think not much difference between them. But it is autonomous minded. I'm not saying automation. Automation is slightly one stage lower than the smart and autonomous.
Yes. Okay, sir. So we have another question, sir. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Manoj sir, for your especially two case studies. I would like to ask one question that in the current public procurement scenarios where in current situation like PSUs and many central government department, state government departments are procuring. So which are the areas which you find that where we can implement the block technology at least at the initial level so that it can shape a good shape in next few years?
sir, the question is in procurement thing, in the public procurement, like government body. So how you can use how you can use this technology and at an initial level.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what I feel, first and foremost, all the public bodies that they have a large amount of data, which I told you. So these data need to be properly analyzed and they need to be processed to find out, say for example, in a year or in 2 years, what are the different type of procurements, what is their requirement. One can actually guess actually, say for example, at least some level of the requirement of that items in coming years, particularly when we have a large repair and maintenance system. So how many spares, what are things you request, you can plan nicely that, okay, how many pieces we can keep for 3 months or 6 months or 8 months. So this can simply be done if you have all the previous data. So this can help actually in the better procurement planning process. And also we can see that past data, suppose you have the contract with particular shippers or different shippers, then how you have procured the items, what is their performance, how many times they have delayed the responses. So that analysis also can be done using this particular smart AI and machine learning tools. Similarly, when you go for the negotiation, then if you can put the previous levels of the prices and then what were the initial predicted prices and how much deviations have taken place. So based on that, some improvements or some escalation has taken place. So correspondingly, how much actually it should be there in the net line. Also, some that sort of predictions can be made. And then different kind of risky situations can easily be captured by making more if and then type of rules, which can help the decision maker to go ahead with the procurement of this public procurement items with more transparent and more faster manner with less paperwork and properly available record in the form of the undeletable or blockchain components where very few persons have authority to change. So I think that way it is going to be hugely benefit to the public procurement parties and hope that in days to come this will be the order. So what Dr. Madhuranjan is doing at an IFM, that is going to lay down a process which will have a huge impact on the procurement of particularly larger items in situations like railway or in the airlines industry or in the machine tool industry. They will set a very new standards actually for this. A lot of savings can be reported if we can part-wise, type-wise, proper analysis can be done. they are going to have a very new insights about the overall cost and savings that can be reported. That's also my side.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So, thank you so much, sir, for the very valuable information about the AI in a blockchain. So, we'll take now lunch break.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And I just want to place my utmost regard to the NIFM authorities for giving me this opportunity to come online. Though it's my in problem that I should have come physically and be there with you, but due to some problem I could not come. But I will certainly come someday and meet all of you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Yeah. Okay, sir.